Behind George Burns's iconic glasses and endless jokes was a Beverly Hills mansion bursting with secrets. Hidden beyond its glamorous gates, this legendary comedian's home wasn't just a Hollywood estate. It was the stage for a lifetime of love with Gracie Allen and laughter shared with Hollywood's elite. From the lavish rooms to the intimate memories tucked into every corner, this tour reveals a side of George Burns the world rarely saw. Get ready to step inside the private world of love, luxury, and laughter he left behind. In a rare and candid revelation, George Burns opened up to the public about a moment of indiscretion in his long, storied marriage to Gracie Allen, an admission that came 8 years before his death. The confession, steeped in humility and tinged with the vulnerability of old age, revealed that during the 1950s, Burns had strayed in a fleeting, one-night affair. For a man renowned for his wit and charm, and for a marriage that had long seemed inviolable, this admission was both startling and deeply human. The weight of guilt Burns carried over the episode was immediate and tangible. In an effort to atone for his lapse, he presented Gracie with extravagant gifts: a $10,000 diamond ring, a sum staggering for its time, and a $750 silver centerpiece. These gifts were not merely material tokens. They were symbolic gestures of remorse, tangible proof of a man seeking to reconcile his actions with the devotion he felt for his wife. The generosity of the offerings underscored the sincerity of his contrition, revealing a layer of Burns's character that many had only glimpsed through his public persona of sharp humor and calm confidence. Gracie Allen's response to the affair, however, demonstrated a remarkable combination of discretion, forgiveness, and characteristic wit. Though she learned of Burns' infidelity, Allen never confronted him directly, nor did she allow the knowledge to create a wedge between them. The couple never formally discussed the incident, an unspoken pact of understanding that perhaps reflected both Allen's pragmatic nature and the profound trust underlying their relationship. By maintaining silence, Allen preserved not only the public image of their perfect comedic duo, but also the private intimacy of their marriage, showing an emotional intelligence and grace that matched her legendary comedic timing. Years later, the story took on an almost anecdotal humor when Burns discovered that Allen had confided the affair to her close friend, Mary Livingstone, the wife of comedian Jack Benny. Rather than framing the revelation in bitterness or judgment, Allen reportedly concluded her account with a flourish of her signature humor. "You know, I really wish George would cheat on me again. I could use a new centerpiece." In a single offhand remark, Allen transformed a potential source of marital tension into a joke, a private quip that spoke volumes about her perspective on love, forgiveness, and the occasional absurdity of human behavior. Her comment reflected not only her ability to find humor in difficult situations, but also her deep understanding of Burns as both a husband and a partner in life and comedy. Even as George Burns approached the later decades of his extraordinary career, he remained an active and vibrant presence on the entertainment circuit. In the early 1980s, long past the golden age of vaudeville and the peak of his television fame, Burns was still performing in major venues across Las Vegas, Reno, and Lake Tahoe. His sharp wit, impeccable timing, and enduring charm ensured that audiences continued to flock to see him, eager to witness the legendary comedian who had spanned the worlds of radio, film, television, and live performance. At a time when many performers of his era had retired, Burns' stamina and commitment to his craft stood out, demonstrating a rare combination of talent and tenacity that kept him relevant to new generations of fans. Burns' remarkable longevity and public affection were recognized in an unusual and historic way when he turned 90 in 1986. In an extraordinary gesture that required bending city regulations, Los Angeles officials renamed the northern end of Hamel Road as George Burns Road. Typically, the city prohibited naming streets after living individuals, yet an exception was made in honor of Burns, a testament to both his iconic status and the deep affection Angelenos held for him. The recognition was more than ceremonial. It symbolized a city's gratitude for a man whose work had brought laughter and joy to millions over the decades. Nearly a decade later, in 1995, Los Angeles paid tribute to Burns' lifelong partner and beloved comedic foil, Gracie Allen. In celebration of what would be Burns' 99th birthday, the city renamed the eastern end of Alden Drive as Gracie Allen Drive. Burns himself was present at the unveiling ceremony, a public appearance that would stand among the last major moments of his long and celebrated life. True to his irrepressible humor, Burns quipped, "It's good to be here at the corner of Burns and Allen. At my age, it's good to be anywhere." The line, delivered with effortless timing and self-deprecating charm, encapsulated the humor that had defined his career, as well as his enduring zest for life even in his late 90s. The location of these commemorative streets is also rich in symbolic resonance. George Burns Road and Gracie Allen Drive intersect just a few blocks west of the Beverly Center Mall, in the heart of the Cedars-Sinai Medical Center complex. Burns had a meaningful connection to the institution, serving as honorary chairman of its endowment drive and dedicating himself to supporting the hospital's charitable and medical initiatives. This intersection of streets not only memorializes the legendary comedic duo, but also situates their legacy amidst the broader landscape of Los Angeles philanthropy and civic life, reminding the city of their contributions both on stage and off. George Burns's remarkable longevity was not a matter of luck alone. It was the product of consistent care for his body and mind. Throughout most of his life, he maintained a disciplined daily exercise regimen that included swimming, long walks, sit-ups, and push-ups. This dedication to physical activity allowed Burns to remain active and alert well into his advanced years, a rare feat in a profession often associated with sedentary lifestyles behind scripts and studio sets. His vigor extended even to his love of automobiles. He famously purchased a new Cadillac every year and continued to drive himself until the age of 93. Only after reaching his mid-90s did he rely on chauffeurs, a concession to the natural limits of aging, but never to a loss of spirit or independence. Despite his overall robust health, Burns's later years were not without challenges. He began experiencing difficulty reading fine print, a common frustration that subtly reminded him of the body's inevitable decline. In 1994, a fall in his bathtub led to a serious head injury, requiring surgery to remove fluid from his skull. This incident marked a turning point. Burns never fully recovered, and the injury effectively brought his decades-spanning performing career to an end. For a man whose life had been defined by relentless work and public appearances, the sudden cessation of performing must have been profoundly difficult. Yet even in the face of such setbacks, Burns retained his trademark humor and resilience. In February 1995, despite his declining health, Burns appeared on television for one of his final public engagements. He was presented with the first Screen Actors Guild Lifetime Achievement Award, a recognition of his unparalleled contributions to entertainment over more than 7 decades. Even as his body weakened, the honor underscored the enduring admiration and respect he commanded within Hollywood. Around this time, at the age of 96, Burns had signed a lifetime contract with Caesars Palace in Las Vegas to continue performing stand-up comedy. The agreement even guaranteed him a show on his centenary, January 20th, 1996. Yet when the day arrived, Burns was too frail to take the stage, a poignant reminder of the limits of even the most spirited performers. Burns's social life remained active, reflecting both his charm and the enduring friendships he cultivated over the years. In December 1995, he attended a Christmas party hosted by Frank Sinatra, who was celebrating his own 85th birthday. Unfortunately, Burns caught the flu during the event, further weakening his already fragile health. True to form, he issued a playful statement about his 100th birthday, joking that he hoped for a night with Sharon Stone, demonstrating that even in declining health, his wit remained intact, unbowed by age or circumstance. On March 9, 1996, the world bid farewell to one of comedy's most enduring icons when George Burns passed away at his Beverly Hills home. At the age of 100, Burns succumbed to heart failure, closing the chapter on a century-long life defined by humor, resilience, and an extraordinary partnership with his beloved wife and stage partner, Gracie Allen. Even in his final years, Burns' perspective on life was as candid and wry as ever. He had long anticipated the milestone of reaching 100, but as he reflected in the year before his death, he also looked forward to the inevitable end, not with fear, but with the comforting thought of reunion. Burns often spoke of heaven as the ultimate stage where he would once again be with Allen, his beloved companion of decades, where laughter would continue in eternal harmony. The funeral, held just 3 days after his passing, took place at the Wee Kirk of the Heather Church in Forest Lawn Memorial Park Cemetery in Glendale. Friends, colleagues, and admirers gathered to honor a man whose life had touched generations of audiences. Known for his distinctive gravelly voice, signature cigar, and trademark humor, Burns's absence was keenly felt. Yet the gathering also celebrated the remarkable span of his career. From vaudeville stages to radio, film, television, and the vibrant hotel casinos of Las Vegas. The service offered a poignant mixture of grief and celebration, highlighting not only the public accomplishments of Burns' life, but the private devotion that had defined his marriage. True to his lifelong love for Gracie Allen, Burns ensured that even in death, she would remain at the forefront of his story. Upon being interred alongside her, a subtle yet profoundly meaningful change was made to the crypt's marker. Originally inscribed with Grace Allen Burns, beloved wife and mother, 1902 to 1964, the plaque was altered to read Gracie Allen, 1895 to 1964, and George Burns, 1989 to 1996, together again. This small but significant act reflected Burns's enduring devotion and sense of partnership. Throughout their lives, Burns had always insisted that Allen receive top billing, both professionally and personally, a principle that persisted even in their shared final resting place. The new inscription was a symbolic reunion, fulfilling Burns' lifelong wish to be with the woman who had been both his muse and partner. Are you curious about George Burns's estates? Nestled in the heart of the prestigious flats of Beverly Hills, the residence at 720 North Maple Drive stands as a testament to classic Hollywood elegance and the enduring legacy of one of comedy's most iconic couples, George Burns and Gracie Allen. Built in 1935 and designed by the celebrated architect Harold Grieve, the home combined timeless architectural lines with the refined glamour characteristic of mid-20th century Beverly Hills. Its exterior, with clean proportions and understated elegance, reflected a style that was sophisticated yet welcoming, perfectly suited for the private life of a couple whose public personas radiated warmth, wit, and charm. Burns and Allen made the house their long-time sanctuary, a place where professional obligations and public acclaim could be set aside in favor of domestic comfort and personal expression. George Burns, in particular, valued the home for its traditional design and the sense of permanence it offered. Over the decades, the interior underwent 3 major redecorations, each carefully curated to reflect both the couple's tastes and the input of some of Hollywood's most renowned designers. Harold Grieve, the original architect, provided the foundational elegance of the house, while Bill Haynes, famous for his Hollywood Regency style, and designer Paul Berry added layers of sophistication, whimsy, and personal touches that made the house uniquely theirs. Inside, the home offered a harmonious blend of antiques, personal memorabilia, and comfortable furnishings that created an atmosphere both refined and approachable. Burns and Allen filled their living spaces with objects that held deep personal significance, from awards and photographs commemorating their decades-long career to art and artifacts that spoke to their eclectic tastes. Among the most notable rooms was the library, which functioned as both a study and a private entertaining space. Here, Burns displayed a 3,000-year-old bronze pitcher, a treasured artifact that underscored his fascination with history and classical craftsmanship. Adjacent to this ancient relic was his prized cigar collection, a reflection of his lifelong enjoyment of fine cigars and the ritual of leisure that accompanied them. The library became a favorite venue for hosting intimate gatherings, where friends and colleagues could enjoy the warmth of the home, engage in conversation, and share in the couple's signature humor and hospitality. While George Burns is most famously associated with his glamorous Beverly Hills residence, the comedian and entertainer also maintained a home in Newport Harbor, nestled along the sparkling waters of Orange County, California. This waterfront property offered a stark contrast to the bustling energy of Hollywood and the constant spotlight of the entertainment industry. Here, Burns and Gracie Allen could retreat to the soothing embrace of the sea, enjoying the serenity and natural beauty that the Pacific coastline provided. Newport Harbor, known for its picturesque marinas, quiet coves, and upscale residential neighborhoods, was the perfect setting for a retreat that combined luxury with understated tranquility. The Newport Harbor home, while less documented than the iconic Beverly Hills estate, symbolized a side of Burns's life devoted to relaxation, reflection, and the pleasures of quiet domesticity. The location alone speaks volumes. A property on the harbor would have afforded panoramic water views, the gentle rhythms of boats gliding across the marina, and the calming sounds of lapping waves, an environment conducive to contemplation, leisure, and intimate gatherings away from the glare of public attention. For a man whose career demanded constant energy, timing, and attention to audiences, such a sanctuary was likely essential to sustaining his well-being, creativity, and long-lasting vigor. Although details of the home's design and interior decor remain scarce, the choice of Newport Harbor as a location suggests Burns's affinity for a lifestyle that balanced sophistication with comfort. Waterfront properties in the area traditionally featured spacious layouts, expansive windows framing scenic views, and terraces or patios that connected indoor and outdoor living, a perfect combination for enjoying sunny California days or hosting quiet, elegant dinners overlooking the water. One can imagine Burns's personal touch evident in the home, with carefully selected furnishings, perhaps mementos from his storied career, and spaces designed for both entertainment and reflection. The home's understated elegance likely mirrored the relaxed side of Burns's personality, distinct from the larger-than-life persona he displayed on stage and screen. The Newport Harbor property also highlights Burns's appreciation for the duality of life, between work and play, public performance and private retreat. Beverly Hills offered a sophisticated social environment suited for celebrity gatherings, professional networking, and high-profile entertaining, while Newport Harbor provided a peaceful counterbalance, a space where the pressures of fame could be set aside, and the simple pleasures of nature, water, and calm could be savored. It was a place where a man who had spent decades commanding stages, screens, and radio waves could simply be himself, free from the expectations and demands of the entertainment world. In the later years of his remarkable life, George Burns expanded his residences to include a home in Miami, Florida, reflecting both his desire for comfort and the appeal of the city's warm climate and vibrant cultural scene. By this stage of his life, Burns had already cemented his status as one of America's most beloved entertainers, a man whose career had spanned radio, television, film, and live performance for more than 7 decades. Miami offered an ideal setting for a man in his advanced years: sunny skies, ocean breezes, and a slower pace of life that contrasted with the bustling glamour of Hollywood and the serene seclusion of Newport Harbor. Although specific details about the property remain limited, Burns's choice of Miami suggests a home that prioritized both ease and sophistication. Residences in Miami, particularly those sought by celebrities and successful entertainers, often combine modern architectural elegance with a strong connection to the outdoors. One can imagine Burns' home featuring expansive windows that framed views of the Atlantic Ocean or the city's picturesque waterways, terraces or balconies for sun-filled mornings, and interiors designed for comfort and practicality. At this stage in his life, with decades of stage and studio work behind him, Burns likely favored spaces that were both inviting and low maintenance, reflecting a desire to enjoy life's pleasures without the pressures of constant upkeep. Miami, with its rich cultural landscape, provided Burns with both entertainment and tranquility. The city's vibrant arts scene, diverse culinary offerings, and proximity to music, theater, and social events allowed him to remain connected to the cultural pulse while maintaining the privacy he had long valued. The warm, subtropical climate offered year-round outdoor activity, which likely complemented Burns's lifelong commitment to staying physically active. Even as he aged, Burns maintained a daily regimen of walks, swimming, and light exercise, habits that helped sustain his health and vitality well into his 90s. Living in Miami allowed him to continue this routine in a welcoming environment, where sunny days and gentle ocean breezes made outdoor activity enjoyable and accessible. Beyond the physical comforts, Miami may have represented a psychological retreat for Burns. After decades in the spotlight, with the relentless pace of show business and high-profile residences in Los Angeles, the city offered a space for reflection, personal enjoyment, and a slower rhythm of life. Here, Burns could entertain friends and family in a relaxed setting, savoring quiet mornings or leisurely afternoons, all while remaining connected to a world he had helped shape with his humor and insight. The city's energy, infused with Latin American influences and the vibrant social scene of South Florida, provided both stimulation and solace, a balance that mirrored the duality Burns had cultivated throughout his life. A public figure of immense charisma and a private man who cherished comfort, leisure, and personal connections. What do you think about George Burns? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this, and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.